Hi guys, so I went to Alton Towers a couple of weeks ago now. Just took me a bit of time to actually sit down and get some time to do this recording. So yeah, I went to Alton Towers a couple of weeks ago. Brilliant day. Sun was, gorgeous. Wasn't too busy. It took us about 45 minutes to queue to actually get into the park to get the tickets. That was the longest we queued all day, which was a bonus. About 20-25 minute queues for most of the big rides, which is always good as well. Firstly, I've noticed around the park they've made a lot of improvements over the whole thing. There's a lot of new fencing going up. I think they've paid a lot of attention. The walkway near where SW8 is, they've added a lot more round there because obviously people are going to be using more the other paths more frequent. So it's good that they paid a bit of attention and spent a bit of money on them to freshen them up and make them a bit more open, which was always good. There was a lot more music this time, sort of widespread along the park, which was nice. It always, adds the atmosphere to the day, adds to the theming, makes it a more enjoyable experience, which is always good. So definitely a plus. So walking through the park, walking up to Mutiny Bay, and they got the stands trying to sell Now TV. That's weird inside a park. You paid that much money to go in. I don't think they should be trying to sell you products like that. That aren't park related. Obviously, I understand business and that, these things sometimes have to happen, but it doesn't fit in with the theming. So I don't think it should be. I think you should probably have it at the entrance of the park, right at the entrance. If you have to have it, probably like when they used to have them just outside the turnstiles, sort of in between the turnstiles and the monorail entrance. I think that is a great place to showcase businesses and stuff, and that's a space they should utilise. But actually in the park, I don't think they should. Time for the first ride of the day, Nemesis. Always a good ride. Love Nemesis, love it. It's not my favourite ride at Alton Towers, but it is definitely close to. It's always a good ride. You never have a bad ride on Nemesis. It doesn't really matter where you sit either. It's different on both sides, front or back. Me personally, if I had to choose a place to sit, it would be on the back left-hand side. I think that you get whipped around a lot more on the back, and I think that the views and the sort of close calls on the left-hand side are better than on the right-hand side. The refurb on Nemesis looks really good. Definitely needed it. Looks a million times better. It's the first time I've seen it since they've actually redone it, and it's definitely a plus for me. Enjoyed that. I think they probably should have paid a bit more attention to detail in certain areas on it, made things stand out a bit or make them look a bit more fleshy. But obviously time was a factor, and it was in the winter. They had to, had a certain time to get things done. Yeah, I think that if a bit more detail on it would have really finished it off. I think the cannon definitely needs redoing now. As you're walking into the area, that sort of lets the whole area down now. You've got this bright Nemesis, and then the cannon's all faded. And I think that although it's not a ride, it's like your first impact as you walk into the area. I think that definitely needs updating. Next up was Jewel. I think they've done a few new bits to this since last year, since I was on it. Definitely felt like there was some slight changes in it. There was some more noises. Like when the zombies are coming out, there was certain different noises that weren't quite familiar to me, so I think they've changed them, unless it's just that I haven't been in so long. Also, there was a red skull somewhere. I can't exactly remember where it was now, but I remember seeing it and thinking, I don't think I've noticed that before. It might not be new, but felt like it to me. Think it needs more work doing to it overall, but I think they're definitely going the right way with it. Then we headed over to the Dark Forest, which is my favourite part of the park. It's just, the theming is just I just enjoy it a lot. 13 is my favourite ride in the park as well. Just think that the drop coaster is just something completely different. I've never experienced it on a ride anywhere else, and I think the theming around it is just fantastic. It goes through the trees and the whole station, and I think if they was to improve it at all, I think the 13 sign out the front of the queue, that needs redoing. I noticed that it's all peeling at the back and it's looking like it's about to fall apart. I think that, I know it's meant to look like the tree's overgrown, but it definitely needs freshening up, needs redoing, or it's just going to end up being complete rust, which is not what you want. I think that they need to do a bit more theming so you can actually see the actual building that you're going into where you got the stairs into the queue line. I think they need to do a bit more with that. I mean, it's just great at the minute and there's not really anything to it. I know it's all in the trees and it's supposed to be hidden, but it would be nice to see some more theming on it. I saw some of these for the first time when I was actually having a good look around inside 13 while I was waiting to go on the queue, just as you're going down the stairs. And I saw these and I thought, that's the first one I noticed and that's brilliant. They should definitely put more of them up. Outside would be cool. Maybe put some animatronics on them. Who knows? The Tesla coil was working again, which I'll do a little video. That was really good to see. I haven't seen that in, God, many years since I've been. I didn't go on Rita. I don't normally go on Rita. I can't remember the last time I did go on Rita. But from the side it looked really dated. It definitely needs redoing, that does. I know they've put up the new fence down the side and the walkway and that going down 13 that way. But I think the cars on Rita, I think they need doing. Also the station needs repainting or whatever they need to do to it, but it definitely needs a makeover. Had to have a go on Smiler. Queues weren't too long. It said it was a 60-minute queue, but it wasn't. We was queued for about 25 minutes, which is always good. Bonuses of that, they've cleaned a lot of it up. I see like the car wash yellow things that spin round, they've cleaned them to an extent, even though there's one end of it that was still black, while the rest of it was nice and yellow. I think they've turned the music down from when I was last there, because that used to be just deafening, and when you was queuing for a couple of hours, it just drive you mad. So they've turned that down a bit, so it's at a reasonable level, which was good, which was nice. Inside though, where they got the projection lights on the different slanted surfaces, that wasn't quite lined up properly. Can't imagine that's an overly hard job to get that lined up properly. But it was just annoying that it was slightly off, because it sort of contruded everything and yeah, made it a bit weird. So on the Smiler, I sat on the left at the back, which I thought was a good place to sit. It was obviously Smiler is a bumpy ride, it is rough, but it wasn't too bad there. It was, you know, as long as you sort of hold yourself in and don't let yourself rock about too much. It was pretty smooth. It was good. It was one of my more enjoyable rides on the Smiler. It's definitely not a ride I could do multiple times in a day. I'd probably do it twice in a day, but any more than that, I think it would just, yeah, I think it'd make you be ill, to be honest. So when I went, I made myself a t-shirt and airbrushed it. Haven't done airbrushing. I used to do airbrushing full time as a job. Gave that up. So hadn't done it in ages, and I thought, you know, first trip to Alton Towers this year, I'll just try and make myself a t-shirt. So I made myself a 13 one, obviously with it being my favourite ride. Yeah, I wanted something a little bit different to what, so it didn't just look like a shop bought one. Obviously it wasn't as clear as a shop bought one. It's not going to be being airbrushed. Just did the design on the back of the girl, sort of in the forest, and just sort of played about with it a bit, and yeah, I think it turned out alright. I might do some more t-shirts for other rides. Comment below on what ride you think I should do a based t-shirt on next. If it turns out alright, I'll probably give it away to a viewer. That's if they want it. So I got to see Secret Weapon 8 while I was there. That was the first time I've actually seen it in construction, and it was cool to see it in construction. It was, I believe it has the lift hill has topped out now, but that was just before. It was, yeah, just before they put the final sort of section in, before it peaked. It was good to see all the foundations and see where the track's going to be going. I've been following the build thus far on Theme Park Worldwide, and you know, with Sean and the gang, you know, keeping me up to date, which has been cool. But it was actually good to see it in person.